The opponent going to say switch into Scolipede, one of my favourite Pokemon, but I am so sorry, Mr. Opponent, as you're about to fall victim of some very cool spice. Level 51, 100% IV Fuecoco hits the field of play, goes for the one shield, full incinerate farm down. Slowbro re-enters the arena, but it's got 100 energy to contend with. The first crunch goes unshielded. Fuecoco says there's plenty more of where that came from. The second crunch forces the protect shield. Can the opponent water gun farm down? No, they cannot. Welcome back to the channel. When it comes to Pokemon Go PvP content, there are two things I enjoy: Shadow Pokemon and Spice, and today we have the perfect combination of both thanks to Placeyourwagers. This highly talented battler who recently hit Legend, firstly congratulations on achieving Legend rank, is bringing us a very fun double fire strategy. The Love Cup is littered with rollout users, so double fire might be a bit of a tall task. However, our save switch of Magmar, running that busted quick move of Karate Chop, has that ability to hit them normal types running rollout back for super effective. Magmar's been buffed back-to-back seasons, of course. Karate Chop got buffed last season, and this season we saw a huge buff to the elemental punches. Magmar's job will be baiting out the fire type counter, freeing up the path for a very cool spicy pick of a 100% IV, level 51, that is best buddy boosted Fuecoco. This thing only hits 1289 CP, but don't let that fool you. This little thing can absolutely pop off. If I sound a bit grumpy in today's shoutcast, you could even say angry, that would be because I probably am. Some absolute weapon last night. Smashed into my car, drove off, didn't leave a note, and now I'm left with £1,000 worth of damage to repair. However, that being said, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we lead our Hisuian Electrode into Shadow Seeds, or some nice Shadow Spice from our opponent. We say switch into Shadow Magmar, and out comes Alomomola, this very annoying fish. This thing is so bloody bulky. Unfortunately, Magmar, unlike its evolution Magmar, it doesn't have access to Thunderbolt, but the Scorching Sands still forces a Protect Shield, and we're able to get off a Departing Fire Punch. Placeyourwagers sends back out Electrode to operate as the damage sponge. The opponent's going to be forced to go for non-stab Psychic, as of course our sub-grass typing would mean the Hydro Pump, the better DP move, would be resisted. We tank the Psychic over farm, fire off the Wild Charge removes the fish from the field of play, back out comes Caesar, and we're going to full send the Wild Charge, force the opponent's final Protect Shield, and Fuecoco hits the field of play with a 2-0 shield advantage. Out comes Galarian Slowbro not going to appreciate the crunch, rocks the opponent deep into the red health range. Placeyourwagers going to go for the easiest one shield, full incinerate farm down of his GBL career, and poor old Caesar is about to get cooked to a crisp. We've got that flamethrower locked and loaded. We don't even hit any bubbles, but it's double super effective, easily picks up the one shot, and we take that game. I've got a sneaky feeling today's shoutcast is going to have plenty of big booms, and I cannot wait. In the next battle, we see the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death in the lead position. The opponent say switches into Ariados. We bank the Wild Charge Throne and then send out Fuecoco. Some pesky spiders this meta are carrying Cross Poison. Unlike our final stage evolution Skeledirge, we're a mono fire type, so the poison type damage does at least hit back for neutral. The opponent fires off back-to-back lunges. We tank both. We see Placeyourwagers farm up to the double crunch. If the opponent shield once, they're just going to get knocked out with a second. The opponent recognise they're going to be unable to realign, sack their spider and send back out Talonflame. This crunch at -2 won't do too much damage, but it is able to get the defense drop. We send Electrode back into the field of play. We're going to see Placeyourwagers invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the fly. The opponent reset their debuff and send out the Kanto Electrode. Placeyourwagers sends out Magmar, and it looks like he's using it as the damage sponge. Spoiler alert, Shadow Magmar cannot tank a hit to save its life. We're just about able to survive the discharge, reach the Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands forces the opponent's first Protect Shield, and it's all down to Hisuian Electrode to clean up. This isn't enough for a Hyper Beam, so it's likely a foul play. It looks like the opponent doesn't have it. They must have Hyper Beam, or logically I've got no idea why you'd throw a discharge at a fellow electric type. We fire off the Swift, not the best move and doesn't do too much damage. The opponent sends out Talonflame. Do they think they caught a Swift? We full send the Wild Charge, forces the final protection. We're doubled up, we throw it instantly, not to take the incinerate damage. Wild Charge removes Talonflame from the field of play. The opponent looking for that resisted Volt Switch farm down. Our Electrode says no, reach the Swift, and Swift is going to be all she wrote. Oof, very close game. GG's. In the next battle, we see the pesky spider in the lead, two better responses in the back. Place your wagers, once again going to utilise the Shadow Magmar save switch, baiting out my Lotic. We go straight for the Scorching Sands, looking to flip this alignment. Scorching Sands sneaks through 2 Protect Shields, and just like that, we can take back switch if we want. Place your wagers like I definitely want it. I want to align my level 51 Fuecoco against that spider. We shield up the Surfer, 1 Karate Chop and the Fire Punch. Fire Punch forced to Protect Shield, but that is a very wasted shield as Magmar's able to Karate Chop farm down. The opponent sends out some kind of rollout user. I didn't see, perhaps Lickitung or Miltank. It is Licky, far too thicky, but we've got the alignment we want. As we've got switch advantage, of course, we're going to align Electrode here. Wait for the opponent to switch back into the spider and hard punish them with our level 51 Fuecoco. The opponent sticks to the script, send out Ariados, and here comes Fuecoco. The opponent fire off the lunge. Lunge does absolutely nothing. Fuecoco looks to fire off the crunch, but it looks like that was a CMP, and of course, being 1289 CP, we're not going to win too many charge attack priorities. Fuecoco gets debuffed once again, but fires off the crunch. Crunch isn't lethal. The opponent unable to reach another charge move. We get the incinerate farm down. Licky doesn't want the smoke. They concede the match, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Miltank in the lead. The opponent says no thank you, say switch into Galarian Slowbro. We fire off the wild charge, unfortunately, which does go shielded, and then send out Fuecoco. We're instantly going to put up that Protect Shield, looking to block up a potential Surf. The opponent baits with the Brutal Swing, but undeterred, Fuecoco able to outpace to the Crunch, and Crunch will be removing them from the field of play. Down goes Slowbro. Back out comes Miltank. These rollouts are hitting for super effective, but rollouts more of an energy generation move than a fast move pressure move. We're able to withstand these rollouts really well. We fire off the Flamethrower, and the opponent is going to be forced to throw. I'll be interested to see what the opponent throws here. They fire off the Thunderbolt, which probably means they're on double nukes. Electrode does have to be mindful that an Ice Beam will be super effective and come quite close to knocking us out. The opponent fire off the Ice Beam. We're just about able to survive. We then pivot into a Magmar. The opponent doesn't switch out, giving us a huge energy lead, which is something I would not recommend. Out comes Ariados. Oh boy, this one is signed, sealed and delivered. The opponent shields the first Fire Punch. We're able to reach the next Fire Punch on the charge attack priority. Fire Punch almost picks up the one shot. That is ridiculous damage output from the very attack weighted Magmar. Place your wagers, shields up the lunge. We're going to resist it, Karate Chop farm down the spider and take that game. In the next battle, we'll lead Electrode into Kanto Slowbro. Kanto Slowbro has a sub-water type in, so the opponent says no thank you, say switch into Scolipede. Scolipede is one of my favourite Pokemon, so I'm so sorry to this opponent that you're currently getting hard countered. We send out Fuecoco. Fuecoco goes for the full one shield. Incinerate farm down, even at 100 energy. Slowbro re-enters the arena, but it's got 100 energy to contend with. The first crunch goes unshielded. Fuecoco gonna fire off the next crunch. This crunch won't quite be lethal, but the opponent looks to invest a Protect Shield. Can they water gun farm down before the next crunch is reached? No, they cannot. Fuecoco absolutely popping off. Place your wagers using every last bit of that 100% IV and best buddy boost to reach that final crunch. Out comes Ariados. We send out Magmar. Place your wager says throw whatever you want. The opponent goes for the lunge. Lunge, of course, is resisted as fire does resist bug. We farm up to the double Fire Punch. The first Fire Punch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We're doubled up. We're able to win CMP. The next Fire Punch. Oh my god, Magmar. This is brutal to watch from the opponent's perspective. The opponent recognise the game's over, and once again they concede the match. In the next battle, we've got yet more bro action. This one is the Galarian version. I'm not entirely sure why the opponent instantly pivoted out. I imagine it's because they're running some kind of ABB strategy, as that was a dominant lead for them. They sent out Scrafty, so it's very safe to assume this is going to be a double fighting strategy, although I wouldn't recommend safe switching Scrafty. I'm going to call this Metachan in the back, and I think Metachan is objectively better in the safe switch position. I'm even more surprised that the opponents on Power Up Punch on their safe switch Scrafty, as of course Power Up Punch is better in the back, looking to two-shield its way through teams. Magmar farmed up to the double Fire Punch. I can't quite believe Scrafty was able to withstand that damage, showing very respectable bowl. We send back at Electrode. We fire off the Wild Charge. Wild Charge lands for massive damage on Slowbro. And we send out Fuecoco, looking to get an energy lead. Fuecoco, much like its evolution, as it called Crocodile, and its final stage evolution, Skeledirge, does have access to Disarming Voice. And my god, do we wish we had it here. Although we fire off the crunch, getting the defense drop right on cue. It looks like our opponent is somewhat of a degenerate, running 2 counter users, both with power up punch. Place your wagers, unwilling to shield the pop. He knew he survived and he's still able to reach the crunch. Crunch forces the opponent's final protection. We go for the wham bam combo play, pivot into Electrode, fire off the Swift. Swift unfortunately isn't lethal, and this now puts us in somewhat of a tricky position. We are going to shield the heavily boosted pop. Back out comes Galarian Slowbro. However, they're unable to reach a charge move, unable to farm down. We reach the Swift, and it looks like our degenerate buddy over here has force closed their app. Swift picks up the knockout. I was thinking to myself, perhaps I was a little mean calling this opponent a degenerate, but as they've force closed the app, I do not feel bad whatsoever. Don't force close your app, it is so bloody annoying, but regardless, we're able to take that game. In the next battle, we see the snare in the lead. No, they're a rock throw. We say switch into Magmar, and we are getting absolutely wrecked by these rock throws. We fire off the scorching sands. No! The opponent shows no respect. They get cleanly one shot. Out comes Lurantis. Magmar able to force a protect shield. Whoa, that was kind of crazy start to this battle. I was not expecting that. Why did you not shield, opponent? We was only reaching one move. It kind of is what it is, I guess. I'm in absolute shambles. Come on, Jamie, get yourself together. We send out Fuecoco. The opponent's opting to stay in. So this could be some kind of grass hole team. A rock throw user with 2 grass types. We shield up both superpowers. The opponent doesn't want the smoke. They concede the match, and we take that game. Oof, come on. Get it together, lad. We see Electrode into Shadow Caesar. We say switch into Magmar, baiting out Alomomola. It looks like we're running back the very first battle, although this one has played out somewhat differently as this opponent doesn't shield the Scorching Sands and they get a massive waterfall farm down, so this one is objectively going worse than the first battle. Place Your Wagers sounds like a very appropriate name for a horse, and if this was a horse race, we are going to have to come from many lengths behind to win this battle. Place Your Wagers heavily over farms, fires off the Swift. Swift removes the fish from the field of play. Back out comes Caesar, and we are full sending. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Wild charge? Of course, go shield. I think Shadow Caesar is probably going to shield everything. We see the pivot into Fuecoco, and out comes the Kanto Electrode. We fire off the flamethrower. I think I would have thrown a crunch there because the opponent logically is just going to shield, looking to keep this thing far away from Caesar. I'm very surprised to see us not invest the protect shield. It looks like we're trusting an Electrode to clean up. We fire off the next crunch. Crunch just doesn't quite do enough damage. And we've got 2 shield Electrode versus the world. We're very quickly going to be putting up the first protect shield, blocking up the foul play. We farm up, look to fire off the Swift. Did the opponent just get a CMP sack there? If they did, this is going to get complicated. We did hit the Swift, but the game's actually refunded us. And that is going to give us a very clear path to victory. 1 wild charge moves Caesar from the field of play. And we're going to be able to BM wild charge a little Kanto brother over there and take that game. Heading into the next battle. We see Licky far too thicky in the lead position, arguably where the team wants to see it. They say switch into Lurantis, and oh boy, you might live to regret that decision. Oof, that incinerate damage is disgusting. I was anticipating the 1 shield and incinerate farm down, but look at Fuecoco go, showing very respectable bulk. We tank that superpower very, very well. Especially for a 1300 CP Pokemon. Back out comes Licky. Far too thicky. Looking for that farm down. Fuecoco, hold strong. Reach the flamethrower. Getting this very annoying, bulky, I don't even know what is Lickitung. Some kind of fat slob with its tongue out. Below half health. We send back out Electrode. Oh god, today's video is just shambolic. We tank the charge move. Fire off the Swift. Swift won't be lethal, but does force a protect shield. It looks like finally Place Your Wagers going to invest a protection of his own. He quickly shields up the Earthquake, which would hit for neutral as Electric takes super effective from ground and grass does resist. Place Your Wagers over farms, fires off 1 further Swift, removing Licky, evidently not thick enough from the field of play. Out comes Scrafty. We full send the wild charge, force the opponent's final protect shield, pivot out into Magmar. The opponent recognise the game's over. They say no thank you, concede the match, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle. Another Lickitung in the lead. I'm not going to comment on what it is. I'm just going to try and do some commentary. No 1 move will knock us out. Hyper Beam will probably come close, but the opponent hasn't even farmed up to it. They fire off the Earthquake. Earthquake still does a lot of damage, especially for a non-stab move. We're going to return fire with the Wild Charge. Wild Charge lands some decent damage, and we see the pivot into Magmar. Magmar going to invest to protect shield, shielding up the body slam. The opponent then sends out the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. Scorching Sands is single resisted, but if it goes unshielded, I expect it to do quite a lot. Scorching Sands does rock the opponent below half health. The opponent opts to instant throw. I'm quite surprised he plays your wagers. Invest to protect shield. I guess he's looking to force some shields back off the opponent. We go for 2 karate chops and the fire punch. Fire punch forced the opponent's final protect shield, and we're able to outpace the Scorching Sands. Is Scorching Sands enough to knock out? Oof, unfortunately it isn't. The Firebird of Death survives on 1 HP and a dream, but that should just be free farm for either Pokemon. We send out Fuecoco. The opponent not wanting to give us any free energy, send out their Spider. I understand the opponent's thought process. They're probably thinking with the fire type out the way, the Spider's free in the back, but unfortunately that simply is not the case. If the opponent's got cross poison, we might be in trouble. Evidently, they do not have it. It's just another lunge. Fuecoco holds strong, farms up to 100 energy. Crunch removes them from the field of play. Talonflame is still alive, but nothing more than a sacrificial swap. The opponent opts to send out Licky, far too thicky. They're instantly greeted with the crunch. Crunch forces the opponent's final protect shield, and right on cue we go for the wham bam combo play, serving up the Big Mac and the Fry. Swift picks up the knockout. We Thundershock farm down Talonflame and take that game. Heading into the next battle, yet another Licky. When Body Slam got nerfed, myself and a lot of other battlers were absolutely buzzing that Lickitung was no longer in the meta. However, now we've just got his evolution, Licky, far too thicky, aka Lickitung, and it's just as bloody annoying. Electrode tanks the Shadow Ball, returns fire with the Wild Charge. Wild Charge gets no respect, we stay in, fire off a Swift, goes unshielded, isn't quite lethal, we're able to Thundershock farm down afterwards. Out comes the Spider, we see the instant pivot into Fuecoco. The opponent opts to stay in, likely to debuff us before sending out their third. The opponent fires off the lunge, then send out the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. Fuecoco gonna fire off the Crunch. Crunch won't do too much, but the opponent opts to shield the first, which is something I would not recommend doing. The reason for that is Crunch has a 30% chance to debuff the opponent's defense. If they got debuffed, the next one would do more damage. As I was yapping away, I didn't actually see if we got the defense drop. I think we didn't, but the opponent actually opts to 2-shield Talonflame. We see the banking of the Crunch. Again, the combo play, but unfortunately, this isn't a Wild Charge. Swift doesn't do enough damage, but all chip damage is welcome. We do have a charge move banked on Fuecoco, but of course, at 1289 CP, we are not winning CMP. We sack Fuecoco, which I think is the right decision, and we're trusting in Magmar to clean up. Magmar gonna put up the final protect shield, blocking up the fly. The opponent then pivots back out into the Spider and place your wagers. Energy management is going to be put to the test. It looks to be on point. He recognises he tanks any one move. We go for the beautiful overfarm, even debuffed Fire Punch. We'll be removing the Spider from the field of play. When Talonflame does return, the single resisted Scorching Sand is going to be all she wrote. Very, very nice endgame from Place Your Wagers. GG's. Pokemon Go PvP isn't just about tapping your phone. You sometimes do need to keep yourself cool, calm and collected, as we saw in that last battle. In the next battle, this time we see the Spider in the lead. We save switch into Magmar and out comes Miltank. Of course, fire types don't particularly like rollout users, but the karate chops do hit back for super effective. And after landing the fire punch, Place Your Wagers could flip this matchup, and it looks like he is going to commit. The opponent fire off the body slam. We go for the correct one karate chop and the next fire punch for optimal fast move timing. Fire punch forces the opponent's first protect shield, and we could just shield and karate chop farm down. Although it actually looks like we're not going to fight for switch. Looks like Place Your Wagers looking for a different route to victory, thinking an energy Electrode can handle the Spider, although the opponent not wanting to give Electrode all the energy in the world voluntarily give up switch, giving us the alignment we want. The Spider gets immediately hard punished by Fuecoco. Finally, we see someone with cross poison, but Fuecoco once again shows very respectable bulk, tanking the cross poison, reaching the crunch. Crunch picks up the knockout. Fuecoco very, very deep in the red, able to survive the rollout. I think the opponent actually got one turn bringing there, as the second rollout should have knocked us out, but regardless, we're not complaining. We remove the silly cow from the field of play. Out comes Licky, far too thicky, no messing around. We go straight for the first Wild Charge. The Wild Charge goes unshielded. We're going to shield up whatever they throw and look to farm up to the double. We shield up the body slam. Electrode actually going for the swift bait this time. If this gets called, it's curtains for us, but the opponent has no cojones. Shield the swift bait. We reach the Wild Charge, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Double fire evidently beats double rollout. You heard it here first. In the next battle, we see yet another pesky spider in the lead position. Once again, we utilise the Magmar Say Switch, and out comes Solrock. I love it. Come on, trainer. It's just a fire punch, I promise. Scorching Sands! Oh, go shielded. Although, hold that thought. Place your wagers like, don't worry, Jamie Finn. I've got you, buddy. We're going to have another opportunity to land that Hail Mary. We shield at the rock side once again. Full send the Scorching Sands. I guess forcing both protections of the opponent isn't a bad spot to be in. I just wanted to see a boom land. We send back out Electrode. Electrode going to be operating as the damage sponge. The opponent once again gives up switch. We bank a charge move and make a very nice catch onto Fuecoco. I'm sure if you made it to this point in the video, you already know that lunge is not going to do much whatsoever, as we've seen Fuecoco tank numerous lunges in today's video. Again, it looks like we found an opponent without access to cross poison. We tank the next lunge, fire off the crunch. Crunch isn't lethal, but we are able to incinerate farm down afterwards. Out comes Miltank. We are 2-stage debuff, so I think this is going to do very, very disappointing damage. The flamethrower does absolutely nothing. Rather than concede the farm down, we pivot out into Electrode. The opponent banks their energy, sends Solrock back into the field of play. Wild Charge picks up the knockout. Can we reach the double? Oh boy. Electrode debuffing itself into oblivion. We fire off the Wild Charge. Wild Charge isn't lethal. We're able to reach the Swift. Is Swift enough to knock out? Let's go, Electrode. Let's go, little buddy. And we take that game. I would usually say who was worried, but evidently from my voice you can tell me. I was worried, but Place Your Wagers got it done. In the next battle, we see the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death in the lead position. The opponent Say Switch into Buzzwold, and here comes Fuecoco. We invest the protection. Thankfully, we don't get baited with a lunge. That would have been brutal. The opponent goes to the superpower, then send out Scrafty. Scrafty might actually shield here, as we do have access to Disarming Voice, which is double super effective, and the opponent obliges putting up that protect shield. Fuecoco able to fire off one further flamethrower, getting Scrafty below half health. The opponent committing to a massive counter farm down, which isn't fantastic. We send out Magmar. Magmar going to be operating as the damage sponge. The opponent fire off the foul play. Magmar withstands the damage. The opponent recognise they're going to get farmed down. Pivot back out into Talonflame. We farm up to the double Wild Charge. You know the drill. The first one I was going to say would be forcing the protect shield, but the opponent actually looked to call the bait. They get one shot. Back out comes Scrafty. The opponent invests that protect shield. Do get the full counter farm down. However, we've got more health than them, and one karate chop is going to be enough to take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Seaking in the lead. In this matchup, the opponent's likely running triple legacy, so their Poison Jab and Icy Wind will be hitting us for super effective. Likewise, our Thunder Shock's also super effective, and the Wild Charge would pick up a one-shot. With that in mind, we go for a cheeky masturbating session, killing a poor defenseless cat. This time, with full sending, is the opponent willing to two-shield their lead? Wild Charge goes unshielded. Get that Seaking off my screen. We then see the pivot into Magmar, and out comes Licky, far too thicky. Place Your Wagers actually going for the Scorching Sands. Fire Punch is better DP at 1.6 compared to Scorching Sands at 1.42 DP in this matchup. However, it does have a 10% chance for an attack drop, which we're actually able to get, meaning we survive the body slam and even reach a departing Fire Punch. Fire Punch forces protection. The opponent then snipes with Scrafty. However, Scrafty has no shields to hide behind. We're going to send out Fuecoco. I guess we can just incinerate and flamethrower, and that should pretty much get the job done. Where does Place Your Wagers burn the final protect shield? He's unwilling to shield this move. The opponent full send the foul play, rocking us into the red. We fire off the flamethrower. Flamethrower doesn't quite do as much as I was expecting, but that's okay. We send back out Electrode, reach the Swift. Swift will be moving Scrafty from the field of play. Back out comes Licky, far too thicky. Is that one incinerate range? Probably so, and it looks like Place Your Wagers is fairly confident that one incinerate will be lethal. We can just safely shield this move up. Do they get knocked out? Yes, they do. And we take that game. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's shoutcast. As I briefly touched on in the intro, I'm not in a particularly good mood whatsoever today, but Place Your Wagers has managed to put a smile back on my face. If anyone's made it to this point in the video, which is over 24 minutes, post turtle down below. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. The link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.